here present. Mr. Zanga Chikosi, Secretary to the President and Cabinet, and all the government officials here present. Chairpersons and Vice Chancellors of the public and private universities here present. Principals, registrars, academic and non-academic staff of the public and private universities. Your Excellencies, heads of mission and international organizations here present. All the leaders of the Tonse Alliance here present. Your Worship, Juliana Kaduya, Mayor of the city of Lilongwe. Bishop Christopher Holler, the officiating clergy. Distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, on behalf of RUFORUM, the Regional Universities Forum for Capacity Building in Agriculture, a consortium of 129 African universities from 38 countries, and on behalf of the talented men and women who invested their time, wisdom, and judgment in organizing this function, I thank you, Your Excellency, for opening the gates of Kamuzu Palace and the doors to this banquet hall so that we may hold this function here today. Your Excellency, RUFORUM could not get a venue more befitting for this function than the magnificent First House of the land. Would like to thank you, Your Excellency, for that. During this function, Your Excellency are going to be recognized for your exemplary contribution to higher education in Malawi and beyond our borders, and there will be several statements that are going to be rendered by some of the men and women who work in the Regional Universities Forum in various portfolios. I therefore seek your indulgence, Your Excellency, so that the chairperson of RUFORUM, Professor George Kanyamapiri, may stand on his feet in your presence, Your Excellency, to make a statement.
Your Excellency, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, President of the Republic of Malawi, the Minister of Education, Honorable Agnes Makonda Nyalonje, the Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Robin Lowe, MP, the Secretary for Education, Mrs. Chikwandano Musa, the Secretary for Agriculture, Mrs. Erika Maganga, other government officials here present, university vice chancellors of universities here in Malawi and elsewhere in Africa, university chairpersons, deputy vice chancellors, registrars, and directors. Professor Adipala Ekwamu, Executive Secretary of the Regional Universities Forum for Capacity Building in Agriculture, and your team, all protocols duly recognized, ladies and gentlemen. I bring to you greetings from Lilongwe University of Agriculture and Natural Resources in Malawi. In my capacity as Vice Chancellor, I further bring you greetings from the Regional Universities Forum for Capacity Building in Agriculture, RUFORUM, a network of 129 universities from 38 countries in Africa, where I am privileged to be the board chairperson. I want to use this opportunity to congratulate Your Excellency, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, on this momentous installation as chairperson, champion for higher education in Africa. Let me further congratulate Your Excellency for your well-deserved election as chairperson of the Southern African Development Community. As Vice Chancellor and RUFORUM Board Chairperson, representing other Vice Chancellors and higher education practitioners, I appreciate the need to uphold the due credit of higher education, especially in Africa. At Roof Forum, and indeed at the Lilongwe University of Agriculture and Natural Resources, we believe that no country can develop without higher education. Human capital, science, technology, and innovation are the engines that drive economies of the nations. I am proud that, Your Excellency, you are the firm believer of higher education and indeed prosperity of the people of Africa, to which you play a crucial role, and in achieving sustainable development goals and the Africa we want, as articulated in Agenda 2063. Your Excellency, as universities, we shall continue to work with private and public as well as partners to develop the requisite human capital, produce and disseminate appropriate technologies, and generate the required knowledge in order to support sound policies and economic development for a prosperous population where no one is left behind. For this to be meaningful, we look towards governments and regional bodies to put in place the appropriate investment and operational environment. I thank you, Your Excellency, that we are beginning to see these characteristics in Malawi. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, today's installation has been motivated by the recognition that Malawi has played a significant role in advancing the character of higher education on the African continent. Permit me, Your Excellency, to thank you for accepting to take up this challenge to champion higher education in Africa. Allow me also, ladies and gentlemen, to thank you for agreeing to be part of this historic occasion. And I look forward to a brighter future that is guided by science, technology, innovation, where policies are evidence-based and there is a productive and sustainable relationship between universities and other development sectors. Roof Forum is available and ready to participate in development processes in our continent. Finally, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to thank the Minister of Education and her senior officers for the leadership and her guidance during the preparation of this event. Permit me also to acknowledge fellow Vice Chancellors and principals of public universities and task force members who have worked tirelessly during the planning, execution of the exercise. I thank you, Your Excellency, and all distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, for your attention.
Your Excellency, the Roof Forum Secretariat is resident in our sister country, Uganda, in East Africa. Specifically, they are housed at Makerere University, which is 99 years old this year. And coming from the Secretariat is a team of men and women who have dedicated their time to advance higher education in Africa. And leading the team, Your Excellency, this morning, we have a son of Africa who is a fervent believer in the power of higher education, in the name of Professor Adipala Ekwamu, who is the Executive Secretary of Roof Forum. May you permit, Your Excellency, that Professor Adipala Ekwamu may render his remarks before you, Your Excellency.
Your Excellency, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, the President of the Republic of Malawi, honorable ministers present with us here today, all protocols observed, ladies and gentlemen. We, as African universities representatives, are greatly honored to be received by Your Excellency, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, the President of the Republic of Malawi, during this auspicious occasion when we recognize your outstanding contribution to the development of Malawi and your leadership to promote education as the fulcrum of human development across the continent. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, as mentioned, RUFORUM is a network of 129 universities in 38 countries in Africa. 5 of the universities are from Malawi, namely Lilongwe University of Agriculture and Natural Resources, Malawi University of Science and Technology, Mususu University, Nkoma University, and the University of Malawi. As an organization, RUFORUM focuses on working with African governments, member universities, and other actors to strengthen higher education, science, technology, and innovation development in Africa with 4 main thrusts. First, strengthening human capital development for the continent, especially for agriculture and food systems. 2, generating research technologies and innovations, and linking up with earth uptake pathways such as farmers and industry. 3, providing technical support to African governments on policy issues and on strategic undertakings in the areas of agriculture, science, technology, and innovation. Last but not least, we focus on resource mobilization and advocacy for higher education in Africa. Accordingly, RUFORUM has supported establishment of postgraduate training programs in agriculture-related fields in different countries across Africa to train for Africa in Africa. Member universities, we have supported member universities to develop academic programs, and some of these have merged into higher education centers of excellence. You have two of these centers in Malawi, the health science at Kamuzu University, and then the aquaculture and fisheries at Lilongwe University of Agriculture and Natural Resources. We have also worked with our universities to mainstream gender in university academic programs. Importantly, we have supported the research by African universities to generate technologies and innovations for improving food systems in Africa, and as an outcome, Malawi contribution to development of aquaculture and fisheries and soil fertility and legume development improvement is visible across Africa. Your Excellency, you have just toured exhibition by Malawian universities. With significant and long-term investment, African universities can make a difference to this continent. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, RUFORUM has contributed to human capital development for the continent with close to 3,000 students trained at master's and PhD level, all trained within Africa, and whose work has impacted more than 30 million smallholder farmers across the continent. Your Excellency, in training these students and leaders of today, we make sure that they don't only train within their own countries. 70% of those students have been trained in different parts of Africa. Your Excellency, you know the saying that a child who eats only his mother's food doesn't know what is missing. We are focused on making sure that the new generation of students know our continent. They know the challenges, they know the opportunities, and they can work together to come out with strategies for addressing some of those challenges. In terms of forum engagement in Malawi, we are focused in developing quality human capital to support agricultural transformation in Malawi. We have trained to date 145 masters and PhD students for Malawi. Of those 145, 97 have been trained within Malawi, and 48 have been trained in other Reform member universities, thus taking advantage of the networking opportunities provided by Reform. Your Excellency, Reform has worked with the member universities to mobilize resources to support research in Malawi. Reform has enabled Malawian universities to demonstrate the potential of universities in working with communities and youth to create rural transformation, create jobs, and employable graduates, as well as increase business incubation. The research and other projects cut across the agricultural sector and have developed agricultural technologies and innovations for the transformation of agriculture and improving livelihoods in Malawi. Some of these, Your Excellencies, include rational exploitation of forestry resources, exploitation of fisheries resources along Lake Malawi, development of affordable fish feeds from locally available ingredients, product market development for various foodstuffs include baobab, technologies for potatoes, commercialization of cassava production, and as I've mentioned, legume improvement. Third, I've mentioned that we have supported staff capacity development, but with a primary focus of strengthening the capacity of universities and research institutions in Malawi as well as in other continents. Today, foreign universities, and indeed African universities, have the honor and privilege of recognizing Your Excellency, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, as the champion for higher education in Africa. This has been motivated by the following reasons. Your Excellency, Dr. Chakwera, you have promoted inclusivity and widening access to education for all in Malawi, and you have placed a special emphasis on education of the girl child. You have continued to be a strong advocate for establishment of more tertiary education in Malawi. We thank you for that vision. Your Excellency, Dr. Chakwera, you and your government has ensured that education, including higher education, receives significant investment, as reflected by the education sector receiving the highest budget allocation in the Malawi budget. This is a unique case. This is not what is happening across Africa. We thank you, Your Excellency, for that foresight. No continent, no country, no place has developed without the requisite human capital and science. We thank you. You watch today your universities responding to the COVID pandemic. That is only possible if we make investment in education for our people. Your Excellency, you have actively participated in advocacy for higher education, science, technology, and innovation development, not only for Malawi, but for Africa at large. Your Excellency, advocacy with the African Union Commission, the African Development Bank, MasterCard Foundation, the World Bank, and more recently with the Bridging Foundation are some of the engagements you have championed for the development of Malawi, but the wider Africa. Fourth, through your outstanding and visionary leadership, Your Excellency has supported agricultural policies and initiatives towards achieving food and nutritional security. And these have translated into the positive movement towards Malawi meeting the targets of the Comprehensive African Agricultural Development Program. Ladies and gentlemen, today Malawi is one of the few countries in Africa where hunger and malnutrition is reducing rather than increasing. Actually, in the Southern Africa region, it's only Malawi where there's reduced hunger and indeed poverty. Finally, Your Excellency, throughout Your Excellency career, you have put education at the center of your work and value proposition for your intervention. As a student, as a church person, you keep going to school. And when you get this education, you go and work and service various education sectors. Your Excellency, therefore, is an exemplary example and model for the commitment and leadership needed to promote education for all in the continent and globally, and especially for promoting inclusive development, including access to education. Your Excellency, apart from hunger, poverty, nutrition, the biggest divide, the biggest challenge that Africa faces is the unequal access to education. And when you don't have access to education, you are perpetually condemned. Your community, your grandchildren, whoever, you are condemned. Thank you very much for promoting inclusivity in access to education in Malawi. Accordingly today, ladies and gentlemen, it is our humble honor that as a forum, a major higher education platform in Africa, we seek to bestow upon Your Excellency, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, the recognition award for Champion of Higher Education in Africa. Our prayers to Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Malawi, that Your Excellency continues to champion the cause of higher education, science, technology, and innovation advancement in Africa. Second, that Your Excellency continues to strengthen equality and inclusivity in investment in Malawi, including access to education for all. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, let me end, one, by congratulating Your Excellency on your recognition as the champion for higher education in Africa. Second, I want to thank you and the government and the people of Malawi for the support you have provided to the forum since its founding in 2004. Finally, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, let me end by wishing Your Excellency, Malawi and its people a prosperous and peaceful future, and for the country to remain the warm heart of Africa. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Your Excellency, when the Reform Board met in April of 2019 in Monrovia, Liberia, they appointed and confirmed a mind, a great woman with a rich and inspiring academic background, a daughter who comes from our neighboring country, Zambia. She is based at the Reform Secretariat as the Deputy Executive Secretary responsible for program development and implementation. She's here today, Your Excellency, to make a citation that will lead to your award and elevation to championship for higher education in Africa. Her name is Dr. Alice Mutiti Muetwa, and with your permission, may she rise to make a citation. Thank you.
Your Excellency, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, Honorable Ministers present this morning, all protocols observed, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, allow me to read the citation. Dr. Lazarus Chakwera is a Malawian, a politician and a theologian. He was born in the rural outskirts of Lilongwe, the capital city of Malawi, on 5th April 1955, to a father called Ernest Pearson Chakwera and a mother, Marlene Mwale. They were subsistence farmers. From these humble beginnings, His Excellency Dr. Chakwera has risen to what he is today, serving mankind not only in Malawi, but from across the globe. He received a Bachelor of Arts degree from Chancellor College of University of Malawi, an honors degree from the University of the North in South Africa, a master's degree from the University of South Africa, a PhD from the Trinity International University in Deerfield, Illinois, and a professorship from the Pan-African Theological Seminary in 2005. He has held numerous leadership positions, both in Malawi and internationally, including as President of the Malawi Assemblies of God, Chairman of the Evangelical Association of Malawi, Board Member of Global University Springfield, Missouri, Board Chairman for All Nations Theological Seminary, Board Chairman of the Pan-African Theological Seminary, Chairman of Pentecostal Theological Education in Africa, President of Africa Assemblies of God Alliance, and Secretary of World Assemblies of God Fellowship. He has also served as Chairman of the Petroleum Control Commission and the National Council of Sports for Malawi. In these various capacities, he has worked to improve livelihoods of the people, promoting inclusivity and championing access to education to all Malawians and those outside Malawi borders. His Excellency Dr. Lazarus Chakwera has actively participated in politics, including as a member of Malawi Parliament, where he promoted understanding and working together of various political groups. He joined mainstream politics in 2014 and contested for the presidential position on the Malawi Congress Party ticket. His Excellency won a parliamentary seat and became the leader of opposition in Parliament. On 23rd June 2020, His Excellency was elected President of Malawi. He has spared no time to put in place programs whose impacts are already visible on the Malawi economy, respecting the rule of law, and putting access to education at the core of the Malawi government's development agenda. President Chakwera is leading several initiatives to mobilize African governments and development partners to invest in Africa's higher education as the fulcrum for development in Africa. Today, RU Forum recognizes His Excellency, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, President of Malawi, for his exemplary leadership, contribution to social inclusion, and for championing education, science, technology, and innovation advancement in Africa. Thank you very much.
Kuti kuno ku Africa kuli skulu zabwino zoti achinyamata atha kuphunzira konkuno ndikupeza mapepala abwino osati umangothamangira kunja kwa Africa. Ndiye tikuona ndithu chipewa cha ulemu ndi chimenecho kuti tsopano mtsogoleri wa dziko lino ndiye champion wa bungwe limeneli la RU Forum lomwe linayambika mchaka cha 2004 kuti lidzitha kuunikira zambiri zokhuzana ndi skulu za ukachenjede ndi zofuna zawo.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, beginning this moment and today, the 1st of June, year number 2021, His Excellency the President, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, President of the Republic of Malawi, is now champion of higher education here in Africa. Congratulations, Your Excellency. And therefore, to continue with the installation and to commemorate and keep a memory, Your Excellency, there is going to be an award that will be presented to Your Excellency. And at this moment, may you allow me to invite Professor Teresia Nkuo Akenji. She comes from Cameroon, and she serves as the Vice Chancellor of University of Bamenda in that country, to present an award to Your Excellency. The award is being presented to His Excellency in recognition of his exemplary contribution to education sector in Malawi and for also championing the cause of higher education in our continent. It bears the map of Africa. That's the responsibility that His Excellency has. And now being presented to His Excellency the President is a certificate to commemorate and keep in memory this particular event. Once again, we congratulate you, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, thank you. Your Excellency, the Luana Choir sitting at Bunda College has prepared a special song for this event, a song that reminds all of us that Africa will not transform unless higher education is promoted and made accessible to all. The title of the song that we are going to listen to is Rise, Africa, Arise. Thank you, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, the President, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, President of the Republic Malawi and champion for higher education in Africa, permit me at this moment, Your Excellency, that I may invite the Honorable Agnes Nyalonje, Minister of Education in Malawi, to make a statement, and thereafter to invite Your Excellency to address this gathering. Honorable Minister.
Your Excellency, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, the President of the Republic of Malawi and champion of higher education in Africa. Honorable Lobin Lowe MP, Minister of Education. Mr. Zangazanga Chikosi, the Secretary to the President and Cabinet, the Secretary for Education and the Principal Secretary for Agriculture, and all senior government officials present here. Professor George Yobe Kanyamapiri, Board Chair of Ruforum and Vice Chancellor of Luana. Professor Adipala Ekwamu, Executive Secretary of Ruforum, and all your office present here. Vice Chancellors and leaders of various universities and higher education institutions from both within Malawi and outside Malawi. Your Worship, the Mayor of Lilongwe City, Honorable Juliana Kaduya, development partners, and all representatives from the private sector, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, and all other protocols observed. Your Excellency, we are gathered at this auspicious occasion to recognize the contribution that you have made to higher education this far, and to education more broadly, both in Malawi and beyond Malawi. Today, Your Excellency, in receiving the award of Champion for Higher Education in Africa, you have shown the greatness of a leader who sets the tone by creating an enabling environment. The award that you have received, Your Excellency, is for you to be the voice for higher education for Africa on the world stage, and to play a significant role as a member of the Committee of 10 African Heads of State and Governments, the AUC10, which is championing education, science, technology, and innovation development in Africa, as mandated by the African Union during its Assembly decision of July 2015. This award is well earned. The Executive Secretary of Reform has already indicated how Your Excellency's engagement and support in higher education and agriculture in particular has been well received in Africa. However, I wish to point out just one or two things that to us as Malawians demonstrate that in creating an enabling environment, you are indeed our champion for higher education, and I would say our champion for education. Your Excellency, in placing human capital development and education at the heart of Malawi's development agenda through Malawi 2063, you have put my ministry and my sector at the heart of driving change towards a Malawi that we all want. A Malawi that's inclusively wealthy and self-reliant as we move towards becoming an industrialized country by 2063. You have, Your Excellency, actively promoted education, science, technology, and innovation as integral part of our strategy to develop into this inclusively wealthy and self-reliant upper middle income country by 2063. And my sector, my ministry, leading the sector, education sector, will not disappoint you, Your Excellency. As you saw when you toured the pavilions outside, my sector is already working very hard to make sure that we can already begin to respond to the felt needs of our communities, both in urban areas, but also in rural areas where the majority of Malawians live. Your Excellency, you saw a number of innovations that will take Malawi to another level, because they'll provide, when it comes, for example, you saw some devices that the health sector needs, which currently we import at great cost. But as you saw, Your Excellency, if we were to manufacture those devices in this country, not only would we improve health services all the way to the community level, but would also be creating jobs. Your Excellency, in addressing the issue of food security, you've not only allowed Malawi to put herself on the Africa stage and the world stage, as we heard from the Executive Secretary of Reform, but internally, for us as Malawians and for us as the education sector, you've also enabled us to begin to think how we can provide a universal program of school feeding that should ensure that for a change, for the first time as a country, we can say that every child in our schools is well nourished and is healthy. Something that is crucial to their attainment of educational outcomes that will lead to us being able to produce the necessary human capital. Last but not least, Your Excellency, in continuing to address the issue of corruption, you're not only creating an enabling environment where your various government ministries can operate and provide the services that Malawians need, but you're also allowing for the resources to be saved and to be used in much needed services. And education Even though we receive the largest share of the national budget, education could use much more, much more, if we are going to make it that every child learns inside a classroom, every child sits at the desk, every child has a qualified teacher standing in front of them, and every child is able to learn and achieve their God-given potential. In addition, Your Excellency, in fighting corruption, you're also allowing Malawi to put herself on the world stage as a trusted partner that can be relied upon to do business with, a partner that says we are open for business, therefore inviting investors that we sorely need to create more jobs as my ministry creates the human capital that will power those jobs. I believe all of us in here agree that our country, the Republic of Malawi, needs such a champion to accelerate the transformation of our universities and other institutions of higher learning, including institutions of research, to produce highly skilled and productive graduates to undertake world-leading research. It will be the Malawian youth graduating through these programs that will generate and utilize the knowledge and technologies to meet the agricultural, health, technological, and business needs of Malawi's economic development to take us to 2063. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, allow me to take this liberty to convey the appreciation of the Republic of Malawi for RUFORUM's contribution to agricultural training and research, and for impacting smallholder farmers in Malawi and indeed across Africa, as we heard from the Executive Secretary. I have no doubt that RUFORUM will live up to its vision of vibrant, transformative universities, catalyzing sustainable, inclusive agricultural development to feed and create prosperity for Africa. Just as it has been true to its mission and mandate since its establishment in 2004. It is now my humble duty and my honor to invite His Excellency Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, the President of the Republic of Malawi and champion of higher education in Africa, to address us. Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Malawi, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, champion of higher education in Malawi.
Honorable Agnes Nyalonji, Minister of Education, Honorable Lobin Lowe, Minister of Agriculture, all Cabinet and Deputy Cabinet Ministers here present, Professor George Kanyamapidi, Chairperson, Regional Universities Forum for Capacity Building in Agriculture, RUFORUM, and all RUFORUM board members here present. Professor Adibala Ekwamu, Executive Secretary, Regional Universities Forum for Capacity Building and Agriculture, RU Forum, and all the management and staff here present. Mr. Zanga Chikhosi, Secretary to the President and Cabinet, and all the government officials here present, chairpersons and vice chancellors of the public and private universities here present, principals, registrars, academic and non-academic staff of the public and private universities, Your Excellencies, heads of mission and international organizations here present, all the leaders of the Tonsi Alliance here present, Your Worship, Juliana Kaduya, Mayor of the City of Lilongwe, Bishop Christopher Hola, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. In 2004, when 10 vice chancellors from across Africa, including the vice chancellor of the University of Malawi at that time, met and decided to establish the Regional Universities Forum for Capacity Building in Agriculture, RU Forum, to promote and improve higher education in Africa, I was delighted. I was delighted because I knew from my own personal experience that the key that unlocked every door, an opportunity for individual growth and career advancement, was higher education. I was delighted because I knew from studying the history of my country that behind every major development were experts wielding skills gained from higher education. I was delighted because I knew that every government policy or program that had made any nation better was conceived and designed by technocrats, shaped by higher education. I was delighted because as a tertiary educator myself and an educational administrator at that time, I was seeing the lives and minds of young people transformed before my very eyes through their engagement with the vistas being opened before them by higher education. I was delighted because I knew that even though higher education is the most transformational power conceived by man, its reach was still limited to the privileged few due to the shortage of institutions to promote it and individuals to champion it. However, I did not, in my wildest dreams, foresee what an important role RU Forum would play in pushing the envelope of Africa's progress forward. I did not foresee that less than 2 decades later, RU Forum would have 138 or 39 educational institutions from nearly 40 countries in its membership. I did not foresee how seamlessly RU Forum's promotion of higher education would fit in with Malawi's 2063 choice of human capital development as an enabler for turning Malawi into an inclusively wealthy middle-income country. I did not see or foresee how instrumental RU Forum would become to Africa's pursuit of sustainable development goals and the African Union's Agenda 2063. I did not foresee that a day like this would come when RU Forum's promotion of higher education would coincide with my own promotion. through my recent State of the Nation address of higher education for human capacity development as an accelerator towards my administration's intent to create jobs, create wealth, and create food security. In fact, I did not even foresee that a day like this would come in which Ruforum would name me as a champion of higher education in Africa. In accepting this honor, I'm filled with a sense of humility and an awareness of the tremendous responsibility this is. In accepting this honor, I am mindful of the thousands of talented young people from across Africa whose dream is to cross the bridge to higher education that connects talent to opportunity. In accepting this honor, I'm aware of the impact that Ruforum's promotion of higher education has already had across Africa, and the responsibility that I will have as a champion to see that impact deepened. I have in mind the impact that Ruforum has had on someone like Simon Mbogo, a student at Egerton University in Kenya, who was linked to a scholarship that helps him continue his education and to funding to start his sheep farming business to support himself and his family. I have in mind the impact that Ruforum has had on someone like Sarah Kiza, a student in Uganda who was linked to funding for her education and capital for starting a pig business, which saw the birth of new piglets last month to expand her business. I have in mind the impact that Ruforum has had on someone like Ngwechi Gore from Cameroon, who was linked to online programs that kept her education on track during COVID-19 lockdown and gave her access to funding to start her vegetable farming business and a bakery so that she is able to support a sick relative while in school. I have in mind the impact that Ruforum has had on someone like Francis Paddy Lamptey in Ghana, who was awarded a grant to use the skills he had gained from higher education to improve the production and value addition systems of a community of pineapple farmers. I have in mind the impact that Ruforum has had on someone like Lucky Nyasuru here in Malawi, who started a mushroom farming social enterprise in Zomba and works with community-based organizations to train villagers in the small-scale production of mushrooms, which are then sold to generate income for supporting over 300 vulnerable households. As champion for higher education in Africa, it is my desire to see such stories multiplied a millionfold. It is my desire to further the work of the Committee of 10 Heads of State, the C10, whose first extraordinary summit was hosted by Malawi in 2018. That committee was established by the African Union to support the implementation of the Continental Education Strategy for Africa, CISA, the Continental TVET Strategy, and the African Union Science, Technology, and Innovation Strategy for Africa, STISA 2024. I look forward to see these blueprints turn to action, especially towards operationalizing the African Education Fund for collaboration with the African Development Bank, strengthening teacher development and retention, enhancing TVET, and skills development for employment among other things. Honorable ministers, vice chancellors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for this honor. And my first act as champion is to endorse the RUFORUM Charter and request RUFORUM to admit into its membership the new public universities that have resulted from the delinking of the University of Malawi, as well as private universities like Nkhani University, which is leading the way. I thank you all for your attention. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President is going to proceed to a group photograph outside the banquet hall, and the following are invited to the group photograph: Professor Kanyamapiri, Professor Adipala Ekwamu, Professor Nkuo Akenji, Dr. Mary Shawa, Dr. Alice Mweetwa, Professor Luke Mumba, Professor Adres Malata, Professor John Kalenga Saka, and Professor Alfred Ntenje. Immediately after the national anthem, you proceed to the nearest outlet from this banquet hall, either to your left or to your right, and thereafter His Excellency the President will take leave of the banquet hall. Your Excellency, may I invite you to please lead in singing the Malawi national anthem to mark the end of this event, Your Excellency.
Nyimbo ya mtundu watu